Welcome to the workshop presented by the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Procurement Council Advisory Board. Please join me in welcoming your PCAB co-chairs, Ángel Colón and Raul Suarez-Rodriguez.
Hola, my name is Raul Suarez-Rodriguez, and I'm happy to be here with my friend and co-chair of the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Procurement Council Advisory Board, Ángel Colón.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Like Raul said, my name is Ángel Colón, and I'm responsible for diversity and inclusion, supplier inclusion at Kroger. And on the next page, we'll share with you the objectives of the course that we'll be showing to you today. As you can see, our objectives at the end of this course is that you'll be able to create a capability statement that can effectively sell or market your company, identify the reasons a strong capability statement helps you do business with corporations and government agencies, identify the key components, format, and contents of a capability statement, and understand capability statements' do's and don'ts. Before we start to specifically talk about this capability statement, I want to give you some best practices. Remember, first impressions are critical. This is your first chance to showcase your company. Ensure accurate representation of what you're trying to share. It needs to be easily understood. Make sure you capture the interest of the corporation prime or contracting personnel. Ensure you target your capability statements to a specific audience. Make sure you understand and study who you're going to meet with so you can be more specific. And include all the key elements about your company. You only have one page and a minimum amount of time, so you have to be precise. On the next page, Raul will share with you your target audience.
Thank you so much, Ángel. And this is critical, right? And Ángel touched on those. Be professional. Know your niche. And by knowing your niche, make sure that when you are presenting or putting together a capability statement, you know who your target audience is. Here's an example of where you need to actually target your capability statement. So if you are going to be a tier one for either Kroger or MERCK, you want to make sure that you are referring to us as a prime contractor, right? And then when you are like a subcontractor, like you want to work with an agency or one of our prime suppliers, then you need to target it for them. It's different, the capabilities that you're going to share us as a tier one that you're going to share to a prime as being a tier two. And finally, don't forget this tremendous amount of opportunity to do business with another Hispanic business enterprises. So therefore, make sure that you also have a capability statement that would talk to your team members. So where to use the capability statement? Ángel, can you tell us more?
Oh, absolutely. This is a question we get a lot. Where should I use this? So basically, anytime you have an opportunity to talk about your business, you should have a capability statement with you. So examples of this is when you're person to person in a conference like this one, vendor outreach sessions, corporate events. Tomorrow there's a matchmaking event. Make sure you utilize them. Associations, social events. Also, if a decision maker makes a referral about you, make sure you utilize your capability statement. And then lastly, virtually, we need to leverage our technology, and you should be showcasing your capability statement on your email, your website, when you're blogging or on LinkedIn. Next, Raul, we share with you who are the decision makers.
That's right, Ángel. And I think this is important, right? Because I think you need to know, again, the target audience already for how you build your capability statement, but you need to understand the players in the game. And what I mean with that is, you have here supply diversity professionals or representatives. That's Ángel and I. Keep in mind, we don't make decisions all the time. We're here to influence and advocate on your behalf. We are your access provider. So keep that in mind. So with that said, be professional and know your target audience. Then you have the strategic sourcing procurement. Those are the category managers. They are, along with the program of business stakeholders, being the decision makers on who and how they're going to be awarding that business. So therefore, it is important and critical that you know these layers, because you don't want to kill the one that is, advocating or influencing on your behalf. Angel, can you tell us more about what it needs to be included in a capability statement?
Oh, absolutely, Raul. There's 5 key elements that needs to get noticed. You have to capture the corporate member or government member attention. So first, call it what it is. We understand what a capability statement is. Actually, it's music to my ears, to be honest with you. Number 2, your core competencies. You got to ask yourself, what are the primary services and products that you offer to the potential corporation or government agency? Are you sure you know those competencies? Then your past performance. Tell us about your experiences, readiness to work, whether it's with small, medium, or large corporation or government agencies. And what were your results from previous experiences? We would love to know that. Also, a key one is the differentiators. Always a question is, what is your differentiated advantage? What makes your product or service different and unique? I'm always looking for that personally. Lastly, company data. What kind of certifications do you have? Or what organizations you belong to, like the USHCC? Those are very important to us, for us to know. So next, Raul will give you a real example of what a capability statement looks like. Raul?
Thank you, Angel. And as you heard Angel, call it what it is. It is a capability statement. Make sure you have your logo. And make sure you have logos of those, if allowed, logos of those companies that you are already doing business with. Because having that type of data, intel, would definitely tell us a lot about your experiences and what makes you different. Then again, your contact information is very important. Make sure that you check, double check, triple check, that email address. Sometimes we're rushing and we're forgetting to either use the .com or missing a letter, and I would never get in touch with, with yourself, because that information is business. It is missing. And then, again, it's like a mini business card that you have on your capability statement. And like Angel said, here's an example of a capability statement that we feel is really strong, right? As you heard Angel, right here, you look at the company information. That's a general company information of your company. Again, this can be in any way you want, but I think what's important here is those 5 elements that we talked about that are critical for us to really know what type of work you do. What is your core competencies, right? What are your primary services? Sometimes there are companies that put the NEST codes next to those categories. That's okay, you could do that. Then what makes you different, right? And then if you have data points that validate what your differentiators are, then don't forget to put it there. And then, qualifications and experiences. This is the list of clients that, as a supplier, you may be doing business with. If you don't want to list all of them, you could at least, showcase 3 by using the logo. Of course, if you're allowed to use their logos, don't ever put a logo of one of your clients if you don't have the right approval to use that logo. Just a watch out. Then you want to make it pretty, but you want to make sure you follow it, you follow protocols, and you meet that requirement from your clients. And finally, what other certifications do you have that make you, who you are? It could be an ISO 9000, or it could be that you're a minority business. And again, another critical point, don't ever start that you are a woman, a Hispanic, or a minority business in a conversation. Start with who you are, what makes you different, and that will take you, to big places. So next, Angel will take us into the core competency and how you should be, thinking about building this part on your capability statement.
Gracias, Raul. Yeah, this part is extremely important because, like it says at the beginning, you have to be laser focused on the target. The key here is for you to customize your capability statement to the company that you're trying to serve. So for example, make sure you study them and ensure you understand their core business and their needs. For example, in our case at Kroger, we're a food company among other things, but food is our focus. Is your focus also on food? However, we also have other needs that your business could provide, such as transportation and construction for our stores. By studying and learning about the company, you can identify your product as value to the needs of our specific company. That is why being laser focused and customizing your capability statement, it's so important. And then make sure you use bullet points. You know, you only have one page. You don't have a lot of times, therefore, heavy bullet point oriented. Now, Raul is going to give you some specific examples of a core competency statement.
Yes, thank you, Angel. And I think you were on point there. Use bullet points. Keep in mind, this is like a resume of your business. Think about when you were trying to go to, get your first job out of college and you build your first resume. This is nothing, but that. But again, it is based on your business. So here's some examples on past performances. Make sure you're very specific and you could give data points, right? Like example number one, and I'm not gonna go through all of them. You will see here on the screen how it is, right? So you provided X, Y, and Z services to enable ABC, where you were reducing costs, over the amount of the time that was your contract. Always use those as specific that really show the value that you're driving through your offering. That's really, really critical. Those are specific examples of how you're driving value. It's important. One question we get, should we always put the dollar value? You don't have to do all the time the dollar value, but you could say, I was able to reduce 3 times the cost by X, Y, and Z, or by 3 years, by 5 years. You don't have to be that specific, but I think these are examples that would take you, that will make your capabilities look strong, right? Because you're giving specific examples on how you're driving value. So Angel, do you want to actually take us to what are some of those ideas, point of difference, like I call the POD, point of differentiators?
Absolutely, Raul. Those are the differentiators. Basically, as you can see, they're unique features and or benefits of a product or aspects of a brand that set it apart from competing products or brand. So, basically identify what makes you different from your competitors. Remember, we get a lot of core competencies. So it is important for us to identify what makes you different. For example, is it your location? Is it your training capabilities? Is it your technology? Is it the relationships that you have that may be very impactful for us? Or is it your experience that we need to know? So therefore, speak exactly to the requirements of that company if available. If you know what they need, speak exactly to that. That's being laser focused. And then also, are your differentiators benefit focused? What is the benefit that that's going to provide to my or Raul's company? He made it very clear, include metrics. Sometimes they don't have to be specific to the point of the exact dollars, but you can use percentages. That's always very helpful and very attractive to us. Also, utilize those differentiators in a way that they're straightforward, easy to understand. Okay, make it easy on us. That way you can keep our attention. And then those differentiators, are they branded to your company? In other words, are they unique to you? And lastly, it's better to have 2 or 3 strong differentiators than an entire list of mediocre or poor differentiators. So make sure you're laser focused also on what are the 2 or 3 things that you feel you're different and unique versus your competitors. So now Raul is going to help us define some of those differentiators. Raul?
Yeah, let's wrap that up, Angel. I think you covered them very well, right? You want to make that strong statement, and then you want to always be focused on the customer needs. It could be specific to a decision maker, if that's your audience, or if you are bidding for a government contract that that's an opportunity in the line. So you want to focus that capability statement or that differentiator based on that particular need. Also, look and do your homework. It is important. Our companies are ever changing. So go and look at the statements. Every quarter we make the earnings announcement. There's usually great information there that you could know where we're heading directionally. And ask the questions. We're here to help you as your advocate and influencers. Again, highlight the benefits that you bring to the table when you're connecting with us, with a corporate member. again, I said it earlier and I'll say it again. I think Angel said it also. It is incorporate metrics. They don't have to be, specific to a number, to a contract, but it could be what is the value being driven by the relationship. And then, what separates you from the competition? And don't put statements like, I want to be this and that and the other thing. No, we know that you are agile and then you want to, go and grow your business. But again, let's keep this real and make sure that it brings the value that it requires to drive that engagement and get you in the door, either participated on an RFI, RFP, or whatever the case may be. So let's move on and make sure that Angel covers a little bit on what are not differentiators.
Raul, you made it very clear, some of them that are not. And that's very important to understand because I do personally see a lot of what are not. And so we're here to make sure that you show us your real differentiators. We want you to be the best of the best. So here's what they're not. Socioeconomic certifications. I cannot tell you how many times, it just happened last week, where I have a vendor that just because they were certified, they thought they deserved the business. The question you need to asking is, what value are you going to add to the company? It's not just necessarily the certification that you have. Also, they're not generic statements. And generic statements can be made by anybody. So be concise and precise on your statements. There's not ecstatic, never changing, okay? Raul mentioned our business changes now by the day. So you need to continue to change those differentiators as businesses change. Then one type fits all, that's not a differentiator. I gave you some examples of how my business is totally different than Raul's. So make sure that your capability statement fits to a pharmaceutical company and it fits to a grocery chain. Then quality, people, services, products. Well, you need to define what does quality means to you, because I may have a different opinion of what quality is. And so you have to be very specific on what those words mean. Next one is, we have 100 or X amount of years of experience. And the question is, what does have that experience deliver? That's what we really want to know. Tell me your experience, but tell me what it has delivered. And that's very important for us to understand. Many times we read solutions provider and we don't understand what solutions are you providing. So make sure you're very specific on what your solutions are specifically to our business. And our all-time favorite is, we see almost in every one of them, best in class, world class, best of breed, or other superlatives, which I'm sure Raul has plenty of them to add to this one. But, the question is, you're best in class compared to who? And have you really done your homework to justify that statement? And so just keep it to yourself, to your results and what you have done. Because believe it or not, there's others in the same industry that are saying the same thing. So the results should speak for themselves. And the more results and specifics you share with us, the more you're going to catch your attention. So lastly, Raul will define the graphic design elements and tips for success for you.
Thank you, Angel. And I think you said it, right? Results will tell that you are actually the best in class. You don't have to use the best in class superlative there to make sure that you tell us who you are and what you do. Yes, so another important thing to make sure that that looks presentable is make sure that you're using your own brand element, meaning if you have a logo, make sure you stay to the logos of your company. Make sure that the colors are not overwhelming, that are readable, right? You use a style that is clean, neat, and easy to read. Make sure that it complements your website. If you have a website, make sure that it is mirroring who you are as a company and your brand element, right? So don't do it like a letterhead. Try to be creative in a way to make sure that that keep you there, and then keep it in Word so you could make edits and customize it based on your target audience, but always save it as a PDF, because that way you could actually, it could not be breached or adapted or customized. So whatever you put in there, it's hard to really break a PDF. So keep it on the PDF. And please do not use a JPEG or a PNG format when you're creating your capability statement. If you're adding pictures to the capability statement and logos, yes, they can be in PNG and JPEG, but not, don't save the actual document as a picture. Sometimes it takes a lot of memory, and it doesn't even get to our inbox. That's another thing that you need to keep in mind. We have a certain requirement when it comes to our inboxes. So file certain limits won't get to us. And then you go and wonder why they haven't got back to me. Is because we never got your file. So I think that's another important to keep in mind, right? Make sure that is a file, that is a size on the file that it could be reachable. And then lastly, I think, we want to wrap up quickly here on, on the tips for success, right? And I think we cover some of this already, and we just want to, wrap it up in a way that you keep, stay fresh. Tailor the capability statement to your target. And we talked about your target can be a prime contractor, that can be one of us, one of our corporations, that can be a agency from the government. You also have as a subcontractor, which can be you doing business with a big player or a big supplier that provide goods and services to us that you could serve as a subcontractor. And finally, to your peers, HBEs in the Hispanic business community. So, make sure that you tailor that, to meet the expectations of your audience. Then, use their terminology. Again, use their terminology. It is important that when you're talking to Kroger, it differentiates that when you're talking to MERCK. Like Angel said earlier, he's in the food and beverage industry. I'm in the pharmaceutical industry. So our terminologies are different. So make sure that you use our terminology. So make sure that you have multiple versions of your capability statement. Because again, this is a marketing tool that will help you continue to do business development and to grow and make better connections, okay? I talked about this. Make sure that the size of your document is less than 1 megabyte. Why? Because you want to make sure that it goes out and, and reaches, whoever you want to reach out to. And then save it as a PDF. I will reiterate, save it as a PDF. And then when you are saving it, follow this format, right? Your company name, capability statement, PDF. That way, when it reaches our inbox, we know who you are. If we met you at a conference, or if we are talking to you tomorrow at the matchmaking, but we make sure that we remember who you are, right? We at an event, we can meet from 100 to 300 suppliers. So it's hard for us to really learn each of your names. So it's important that, you put your name on your presentation to us. And then I think we have something here that is very, very beneficial for you, which is a generic version of a capability statement that you could actually download and, customize it to your company. Another thing, the USHCC has a template that they have already, provided to you by signing up into this webinar. Make sure you use it. Make sure, again, that is just a template. Make sure you make it your own. Use the graphics elements that I mentioned earlier, and make sure that you don't miss any of those critical points of a capability statement, which is, and I'm going to, again, bring that back. It is general company information, your core competency, what makes you different, what are your qualification and experiences, and general company information. Again, I hope that you have enjoyed this session, and I hope you get your capability ready for the next meeting tomorrow or any meetings in the future. So Angel, I think it's time for Q&A.
Yeah, Raul, if you don't mind, I want to add one more tip of success, because we're about 14 hours from the matchmaker. So I'm going to challenge all HBEs to make sure that you, within the next 14 hours, you go to what Raul said, that you will have many versions for each one of your targets. So if you know who you're meeting with tomorrow, start making those changes right now and make it targeted. And I guarantee you're going to have a very successful conversation. But thank you so much, everybody. And yes, we're ready for Q&A.
What a great presentation, Angel and Raul. That was fantastic. And well, we are ready for the Q&A session. And the first question that we actually got was if we can share an example of a capability statement template. So I just did that in the chat. So please just click on the link or copy paste the link to your browser and you should be able to download that capability statement. Well, the first question that we got also was if this video will be available later. And I just want to let everybody know that the video that you just watched today will be available on our on-demand link within our conference site. And it will live there for at least 30 days so you can come back and watch it all over again. And you can also share it because we're going to be sending it at some point. I'm going to list also my name and email address, Laura L. Sosa at USHCC.com, where you will be able to request a link to the video once it's available. So I will be happy to share that with all of you. Well, we received several questions and let's see. Why don't you just, Angel and Raul, I'm sure you have seen several capability statements in your life and your career. And I was wondering if you can share with us the best one, give us an example of a great capability statement and why, what are the characteristics that made it so special?
I'll go first, and thank you, Laura, and thank you everybody for attending. First of all, we appreciate you took the time to watch this session today, and really appreciate your interest and hope that you learned something, and we are excited that you were here with us today. To your question, Laura, I will tell you, I'm a very visual person, so when you listen to the presentation, one of the things that you saw there was that we want to ensure that you focus on getting to know who you're presenting to and that you tailor your presentation to that person. So I personally, I'm a visual person. So I think the best presentation I've seen or the capability statement, one of the best ones was very visual. Like to Raul's point, had a lot of logos, was very clear, easy to understand, had great results. I always look for the experience and the results that they have delivered for other corporations. But to me, it was great to see with a lot of logos and pictures the work that they have done. And I still can see that capability statement in my mind because being a visual person, it stuck with me. And it was easy for me to explain to my category manager regarding that company. So again, it was tailored to me, basically, and to our company. And not only was tailored to us, but it's very visual and easy to understand and had a lot of good data to share. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great answer. What about you, Raul?
Yeah, so I have to agree with Angel. I think, we meet a lot of suppliers, and in a typical trade show, we could be seeing from 100 to 300 a day, right? So, if you have something that makes your company different and it's articulated in a way that is visually helping, to drive what you do back home, I think that's a win-win. So I think, keep it clean, customize it depending on your target audience. I think we talked about that today, and we gave you a couple of examples of where you could use it. Also, use pictures and logos when appropriate. Like the one we put it as an example there today, you could see on the left all the companies or projects that this company had executed, right? And they put pictures on there. But at the same time, on the other side, they put what make them different. They put their certification on a clean way. Sometimes I see capability statements that are a lot of words, sometimes a lot of pictures. So you want to be in the middle. You want to make sure that you stand up your company. And one thing that we mentioned today was make sure it mirrors what your company is on the website. So you want to make sure that it mimics what you are as a company, and you maintain your brand identity the same in each of the collateral that you're going to build. for your company. So I think that's what I would add into what I had just said.
Excellent, excellent. We'll receive another question. And here Carlos is asking, of course, everybody's complimenting you for the great presentation that you just showed. So thank you so much for putting that together. He's wondering if he should focus on diversity managers or also develop relationship with the line business managers. What is your answer to that?
That's a good question. I think we brought up at the beginning of the presentation because, you know, we are your access provider. So diversity professionals, like in my case, and I lead economic inclusion and supply diversity at MERCK, right? So my job is to influence and advocate on behalf of the diverse suppliers. And what I do internally is to equip, educate, and empower the procurement organization to drive that inclusion and to award business to qualified suppliers. So we are not the decision makers by any means. We're here to provide you that access, to educate you as well, and to provide you, you know, the right, you know, funnels and the right protocols that you should follow when you're engaging with our respective companies. So yes, you want to build a relationship with us because we're your first access point. But at the same time, as you start building that relationship, you want to start, you know, try to engage us to get you to who that decision maker is. Again, if we feel you're ready to go in front of the decision maker, the last thing we want is to push you forward with not having the right tools in place of your company ready to be at that prime time. What we tell you is because we heard it and because we learn it and because we know our people. So take our advice and don't get discouraged, because in cases we tell people this is what you need to change, this is what you need to do, this is the extra homework you had to do in order to get there, they get discouraged and disappointed that they didn't get a meeting right away. A meeting is not going to get you the contract. And, you know, it's a life cycle from 3 to 5 years that we probably today, we already have a contract in place for the services that a supplier want to provide to us. You have to understand that in order for you to get suited the right way, excel in your capabilities to make sure that you get and that you do the home run at the end. So Angel, I don't know if you want to add anything else.
No, Raul, I totally agree with you. Great answer, great question. I would like to add the 3 A's, which you said, which is advocacy, which is what we do. We are on your side. We are to advocate with you. Access, not only we provide access, but the 3rd A is the acceleration. You know, many times if you try to go through other venues, it may take you a while to get to that decision maker. So if you want to accelerate that process, that's why we're here for. We do the homework for you, not only with you, but also with the category manager. So a lot of people want to get, you know, that access as quickly as possible. Where, guess what? We're the ones who can accelerate that because we know that person internally who's going to be able to make decisions based on the services or products that you have. So I just want to add to Raul's point, totally agree, just acceleration is what we do for you.
Excellent. Well, I just want to emphasize again the fact that we just share a template for all the suppliers that can use as a resource, and it's in the chat. And again, I'm going to be putting my email address where you can also request this file via email. And Angel and Raul, as you know, there is going to be a business matchmaking event coming up. So do you have any word of advice for any suppliers that are about to meet buyers, or, you know, even if they are not able to meet any buyer today, you know, any words of wisdom for all of them?
Raul, go ahead.
So again, do your homework before you come into a buyer about the company, right? So make sure that you have questions ready on what is the process, what else do I need to do in order to get, you know, onboarded. Don't get discouraged if the answer is you need to register first. That's some of our companies have that protocols. We need to understand a little bit better about your years in business, your capabilities. But I think having this one page that will speak about your company capabilities will help you. Try to follow it as you are projecting your company, right? So as we talk to you today, so there's 5 elements, right? Start talking about your company. And remember, years of business doesn't make you different, right? So talked about, you know, what have you been able to accomplish in your years of services? Why do you see that you are a match with the corporation that you are, that you are interviewing with? And again, don't start by saying you are a Hispanic business, you're a minority business. We know that. So I don't think you need to tell us that. I think you need to tell us what makes you different, what value you could bring by understanding our business, right? If you know that MERCK is a biopharmaceutical company, so how can your business support what we need, from the services that we procure? If you're going to be meeting with Kroger, he could tell you that, okay, they're retail, but they also have Kroger Health. So do you know about Kroger Health? Maybe you could meet, some of the requirements from Kroger Health, but if you don't do the homework and you come prepared to ask that particular question, then you will miss the boat. So I think that's what I would recommend. Do your homework, come prepared, use this document to guide your conversation from your company data to your point of differences, and leave it open into, right, what is the next step, right? So, is it registration? Is a follow-up, so we can have a conference call and more details. Sometimes 15 minutes are not enough. So in my particular case, sometimes when I see that the supplier can prepare, that there is a potential match, that I would recommend to follow up via email, and then we schedule a conference call. And I'll tell you, which is disappointing on our side, 2 out of 10 people will follow up after we tell them what we tell them. So again, it's important that, you follow up and then you come prepared.
Yep. Yeah, Raul, I totally agree with everything you said, but I like to add, as you folks prepare, you have about 24 hours to make any changes that from your existing capability statement, hopefully something you learned today that you can apply to tomorrow. So if I was you, I will do all I can to make any of the necessary changes today and tomorrow, because all it takes is one company, to really take you to a different level. So take this very seriously. Raul also says something very important. It is getting prepared part of it. Today in this day and age, there's so much information. Spend time in our websites. That's an easy one to do today. Go on our websites, learn a lot about our company, what's important to us, how can you add value to it? And then also, many of us are in LinkedIn. So maybe go in LinkedIn and learn more about the person that you're gonna meet. I think that's part of preparation, is so when you get there, you can really understand already what some of the needs are. And the last one that could also help you for tomorrow to prepare, because that's what Raul emphasized, and he's so right about that, is ensure that you talk to someone that maybe has already worked with us. They have invaluable experience that can help you share with you what is it that works and doesn't work, not only with our side of the business, but the side of the business that you're trying to get into. So I think that's a big part of preparation. The follow through is so important. And we're not talking harassing the person that you're trying to address. But, if the first time you're not getting a quick response, don't keep sending emails, be respectful. Probably we're busy with other matters. And so, but still send it, not as often as every week, every day, but just respect that space, of creating some balance of following through, because the last thing you want to do is upset us, the advocate or the category manager who's trying to help you. So it's just like everything in life, be balanced about the follow through, but like Raul said, follow through. That's extremely important. Thank you so much.
So Angel, I want to add into what you just said about ask the question, how would you like me to follow up?
Yes.
Do you want me to follow up every 3 months, 6 months? Ask that question. There's nothing wrong with asking the question. Keep in mind, yes, we're advocating on your behalf, but we also have programs that need to run. And there's other set of challenges that we face internally in our operations of the business that we support. So, outreach is a component of the work that we do. So it's not over. So, and then same
Yeah.
for the category managers. They have other projects that they're working on that they need to actually work on, and then not necessarily have a priority to your email at that point. But if you level set expectations from the get-go, I think that will help.
Yeah.
I would like to remind everybody that the business matchmaking event that we are referring to is gonna be tomorrow, Tuesday, September 29th, and it's from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. You can still register. It's totally free, and I hope you really take advantage of this great session, watch it all over again, take notes, and I think, as they said, collect data and be very thoughtful before meeting with the buyer. Okay, so do you have any final words that you want to share with us, Angel and Raul? Oh, yes, I want to remind everybody that you can keep submitting your questions. Angel and Raul will be getting all your questions, so please feel free to submit them, and we're gonna reply to them as soon as we can.
Thank you, Laura. You have been a great host. Laura, you have been a great host. Thank you, Raul, for your partnership. And thank you to all of you that have taken the time to be with us today. Our hope is that this was helpful, and that as of tomorrow, you can implement this. And thank you, USHCC, for making this available for everybody to help them prepare for tomorrow Matchmaker. I'm very appreciative and grateful for you doing that. Raul?
Yeah, I had to agree with what you said, Angel. Thank you, Laura, for being a great host, moderating the session. Thank you for those that participated in this afternoon session. I hope that you found value on what we, on what we were able to bring to you. I know some of us already know about workability statement, but as professionals, we need to continue to advocate so you actually present yourself the best way possible, so we continue to accelerate your growth. Because again, to Angel's point, we're here to help you advocate, accelerate, and provide you the access that you need. Good luck for those that are participating tomorrow in the matchmaking. Good luck, and hashtag USHCC virtual, hashtag be ready. Thank you.
Bye. Adios.
Adios.